Welcome, foolish mortals.
Row 18, plot 20.
Hey everybody, welcome to Now It's Dark. I'm Jim, and this is Dollar Tree Theater, and I don't know, this is episode 7 maybe? Yeah, I think it's 7. I watched Don't Let Them In, and this is billed as Your Next Meets The Purge, and really, I think that when they're referencing The Purge, it has to do with the home invasion intruders wearing masks, because that's the only similarity to The Purge. Your Next is even a real stretch. Evil doesn't knock. This scene right here is never in the movie. That is publicity film camera work. The synopsis: following the brutal murder of a pretty young girl 15 years ago, a reformed David Pierce is finally released from the asylum and returns to his family home, the 12 Bells Inn, a long-abandoned hotel. When two social workers pay a routine visit, things are clearly not what they seem. Sinister, masked intruders spark a savage confrontation which leads to an all-out assault. Torn between their own safety and a duty to their client, the courageous heroes must outwit and fight relentlessly to survive the night. That is all a real exaggerated stretch of what's going on in the movie. I think that it's intentional, because I think, gosh, sometimes these reviews are hard because, like, I don't want to give spoilers away, but the movie is not what it seems, and that's not a bad thing. So let's watch the trailer, and you'll get a sense of what they are trying to get you to believe the movie is, and then I will try to do a real quick review without giving too many spoilers away of what I thought of the movie.
You got any plans for tomorrow? Halloween? You got a big party to go to? Yeah, what's the story of this one then?
It's an old case.
What are you doing? Got out there last thing on a Friday?
He's not answering his phone. I'm worried something might have happened to him.
Just out of the nut house for murder.
He's been evaluated. He's harmless.
We're with social services. Checking up on him.
Be careful.
We've had trouble getting hold of you, David.
Did somebody break in?
They can't get in.
What is this all about?
They're back to finish what they started.
Get away from the door!
What if you did see someone out there?
We're just doing our job.
Put the gun down before you kill someone.
They know what he did.
They're here for him. Let's give him to them.
And what if they don't stop at him?
I've heard of these cults. Devil worship, human sacrifice. I need a drink.
I don't think so.
What's going on?
Rough night.
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Okay, so this is a 2020 film. It's in the UK, so if you are triggered by watching people drive in the passenger seat, then this movie is going to trigger you. This movie can be found on Tubi, Vudu, Plex. There's a lot of different streaming services if you want to watch it. I am hard of hearing and I wear a hearing aid in one ear, and I had difficulty with the sound. I don't know if it was just me, but if anyone else is going to watch this or has watched it and you notice that the audio of the speaking parts seemed a lot lower than, for instance, the end credit music was perfectly at the level that you would expect sound to be. You know, I find that to be common in low budget movies. So, you know, I just had to crank it up, my television, really super loud. And I'm sure I still missed some dialogue, but you really didn't. There's not a lot of dialogue that has any substance. If you are also triggered by people saying the F word, that word is used so often that it gave me kind of a, because it's a British film, it's filmed in the UK, kind of more of a Shaun of the Dead kind of a vibe as far as like some subtle humor, and the F word a lot. I'm looking at my notes. It's very slow paced. Home invasion is a loose genre that they're putting this into, but really it could fit into a couple of different genres. Actually, on Vudu, it's classified as other. And then on like IMDb, it is under horror, and I thought it's something else. It got a 4.9 out of 10 review. One thing, taking into account that this is a low budget film, so home invasion movies are basically pretty easy. You need a home, or in this case, the 12 Bells Inn. You need a handful of characters, some to be the inside people, the victims, and then some to be the outside people, the intruders. The intruders were all wearing masks, so really, for all we know, and if you look at the credit lists, a lot of these actors and cast members, and then on the production side, again, I mentioned this in previous films, if you look, you'll see a lot of the actors are also doing double and triple duty as stunt coordinator or the composer of the score for the movie. And that's not a bad thing. That is not meant as a critique in a bad way of the film. It's just, you know, that's the part of low budget independent films that I like, because people are more invested in doing the best that they can when they're having to be responsible for a lot of different things. It's like they really have a passion to get this film done, and they are using every resource that they can. The one critique I will give, though, and it's a reoccurring trigger for myself, is the overusage of stock footage of a full moon used to transition scenes. It was done, I think I stopped counting at 6, and then a shot of the sun through trees was used as a transition to indicate that it was morning. And I don't know why it bothers me, but to use the full moon 6 times, it's probably my major complaint of the movie. The characters are not too difficult to understand. There's 2 social workers. They're going to visit, you know, a client who is just released from the asylum. That's the story. And then they get to the 12 Bells Inn where he's staying, and then things start to take a turn. It takes a long time to get to that point. I think it's like a half hour or so in before you get to the inn. And then once you're in the inn, you realize that something's going on. You start to pick up, if you're paying attention, some clues that something is going to be a twist later on, which it did happen, and I was glad for it to happen. The main female lead, Jenna, is the character that we are really following the most and we're supposed to be the most invested in. I found her character relatively annoying, actually, until the last 20 minutes, and then she becomes a pretty kick-ass character, and I then really liked her, and I was rooting more for her. And like I said, there's like that twist that all these kind of movies have, that I really enjoyed, and I was glad that they went with that direction. So this movie takes place on the eve of Halloween, so I did think it was cool when they mentioned Sam Hain. Just a side note that Sam Hain, even though it's spelled that way, is not the pronunciation of it. It's Samhain, for anyone who knows which lore and occult and all that kind of stuff. It's a minor thing. Some people get offended when they hear Sam Hain, but it is what it is. Yeah, so it's not a horrible movie at all. The third main character, David, who was the client that was released, he really seemed like too weak of a character. I think they really overplayed him being too, I don't know, quiet, fidgety. Like he was too. He was written not as he could have been a little bit more vocal. Could have been a little more vocal. I'll just leave it at that. It's a slow-paced movie. There's not a lot of invading of the home for a home invasion movie. But I did not hate this movie. I think a 4.9 out of 10. That's the rating that they got on IMDb is probably pretty fair. Again, other than the audio issue and then the annoying moon transitions from scene to scene. Oh, you know what? One other thing that I did, for whatever reason, it caught my attention. The inn is really run down because nobody has been living in this inn for the amount of time that David, the third main character, the asylum patient, until he comes back. So it's run down, there's no electricity, it's very dirty and dusty and falling apart. But the inn has this bar area with a bar, and that is where the three of them are kind of holding up for a short period of the movie while the invaders are outside, literally just standing on the outskirts of the yard with the woods to their backs, and they're just staring with their masks on. They could have been mannequins, like, for all we know. But because it's a bar, the one main lead male character, I can't remember what his name was, he finds a bottle of alcohol and then starts pulling out 3 glasses. Those glasses were crystal clear, like cleaner than if you washed them in your dishwasher and like put them on the counter. So for the place to have been so run down, the bottle that he found of alcohol had dust on it and everything, but those glasses were crystal clear. I'm telling you, they were so clean that it literally jumped out at me like, wow, how are those so clean, when he just pulled them out from under the counter. It's a stupid thing to notice, I know, but that's what I do. I notice stupid things. So anyways, it's not a horrible movie. It's 82 minutes. If you have 82 minutes to just mindlessly watch some UK home invasion horror, then check it out. And thanks for tuning in. This was Dollar Tree Theater, episode 7. Next month, July, I'm going to be doing all of the Robert the Doll films that I have bought at the Dollar Tree, which is 4. I think there are 5 in the series. So I'm actually going to start with Robert the Doll 1, go through 4 for the month of July, and I hope you tune back in. Thanks.
I would like to thank all the little people who work so hard to make this picture a success. I would like to thank them, but I really can't because I did it all myself.